Okay, what are you saying, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like on the stream. It does really help out. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. And of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. If you haven't done already, check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. You can find the link to it at the top of the chat and also in the description below. Shout out for the traders, shout out myself. I share ideas there, and so can you. And of course, you can find out a bit more about Elevating Traders if you are interested. So make sure you go check it out, completely free to join. But guys, welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is well. Ahmed, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Ninad, welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Keris, what is up? Good morning. Ahmed, welcome. FOMC, yes. We do have, I've completely forgot about that. We do have Canada as well. We do have Bank of Canada, I'm pretty sure. Completely skipped my mind there. But yes, we do have Fed interest rate later today at 7 o'clock UK time, that is. And before that, we do have Bank of Canada as well. Let's not forget that at 2:45, expected to drop by 0.25% there. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting day in the markets, 100%, especially USD-wise, of course, CAD-wise as well. But generally speaking, the markets as a whole should see a bit of movement today. So we'll see what we have in store. Very, very interesting. Definitely keep your eyes peeled for that and manage your positions accordingly. But big day in the markets. What's up, Gold Forever? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Always wait for you. Appreciate it. I've been good. Hope you've been good as well. Appreciate the love. Charles, welcome to the stream. I'm doing good. Hope you are well too. So as always, guys, we'll go through USD side of things. I think that USD does have a lot of importance today, so we'll definitely go through that. Take a look at the DXY, USD majors, gold and silver. Of course, any particular pairs you are looking at, drop it down in the chat. We'll discuss if there is a particular time frame as well, because of course I'll look at my usual 4-hour chart and time frames in and around that area. But if you want me to drop a lot lower, let me know. But as always, we'll start with the DXY. So dollar's looking pretty bullish this morning. I was kind of hoping to see a bit of a move to the downside because I am looking to buy the dollar. Again, this is purely from technicals. We'll see what the Fed does and how that affects the market this afternoon or evening. But in terms of the technicals, we've come back to a very nice area where we're expecting a bounce for the dollar, which is this brief consolidation on the left. Lovely, tightly knit consolidation. Price exploded to the upside for a lot of momentum. And we have since come back to retest that area. So naturally speaking, I'm looking for a bounce. I believe we also pulled back into the 0.618 of the fib. Yes, we did as well. So some really nice confidence in that area. So yes, I was looking for price to potentially go fill that gap because we started off the week with a bit of a move to the upside. So I was hoping we could go fill that, either form a higher low somewhere or equal low. And then hopefully that could be the area which I look to find my entries, well, not necessarily in the dollar, but on Euro USD, Pound USD, all giving similar price action. But it looks like we are very bullish. Who knows? Maybe the Fed interest rate does give us a bit of a tumble. We do push down. Maybe look for those entries later in the week. So that'll be Thursday, Friday. But I am looking for upside here for the dollar. And at the moment, we are looking pretty bullish, intraday. But we still do have areas to contend with around here. This was a lower high, which gave us a pretty strong drop to the downside. As we do approach this area, we might again roll over. So I'm not going to rule that out. I do think the dollar might see a bit of friction around 108.3. So if you are looking to anticipate more upside, watch out for that area. Of course, we could go break through it as well off the back of the news, but this is definitely an area where we potentially could sell off again. And then hopefully if we do that, I can find some entries to take this back up. So yeah, dollar looking very bullish at the moment, but yeah, waiting for price to push down for entries, and then hopefully we can ride it back to the high if everything goes pretty well. In terms of Euro USD, it's pretty much the exact same, but of course flipped. Really strong reaction at the start of the week. I was looking for Euro USD to pull back, either give me that lower high or that equal high. And then from there, we're looking for my entries to take Euro USD to the downside. And if everything goes well again, possibly all the way back to the swing low. So I'm still very bearish in Euro. This is the last major swing high, which gave us the swing low, of course, breaking through that low there as well. So essentially, I'm looking for the pullback of this bearish leg here, and you can see we've just about tapped into the 0.786. So it's a fairly deep corrective retracement, which is a good sign, especially if it's corrective. You don't want to see price kind of fly to the upside. That's more of a sign of a reversal. We've been very, very slow in this move to the upside, so I do expect us to eventually see a push down. Whether we get all the way to the low or not, that's a different question, but we have seen a pretty nice reaction. So I'm looking for something like this to get into a position. Again, similar to the DXY. Things are looking bullish on the dollar, hence things are looking pretty bearish on Euro USD. And same situation is occurring, coming back into this area. And this is an area which gave us a very strong move to the upside. So I wonder, can we respect this area and push back up again? Of course, at the moment, no real sign of that happening. Things still look very bearish here on the right, but this is definitely an area to watch out for. So, yeah, that's kind of really what I'm looking at for Euro. Looking for a lower higher. Pound USD, same situation as well. Pound USD looks like it's starting to pick up the pace. The reaction hasn't been as good as Euro. Euro had a really strong reaction at the start of the week. Really strong push to the downside, like dollar had to the upside. But pound was kind of a more of a slight reaction, which wasn't as impulsive, but we may be taking our time to take shape. But it's the same idea. If the dollar is going to continue higher, pound USD is likely going to continue lower. Of course, this is our lower high, which gave us this massive move down here, breaking through these lows. And as you can see, we are retesting that price support as resistance. So we came into a really healthy area for pound. And again, same situation, looking for price to either form a lower high or equal high to get into a position and take pound USD to the downside. I'm liking the momentum this morning. But again, I would want to see another push back up again. Maybe as we approach this area here, nice resistance on the left, could we turn support? That might give us a bit of a bounce to the upside. So yeah, very bearish of pound USD so far. If I zoom out, look at the bigger picture, you can see all the lower highs we've been printing. One over there, second there, third. I'm essentially looking for the fourth. Maybe you've already printed it, and possibly another swing to the downside. So just basically looking for the continuation of that trend there. So yeah, very bearish on pound, expecting more downside. No kind of entry yet for me, so I have to stay patient. But that is the idea at play. Dollar CAD has just been the same old, same old. Nothing really has developed here. Just a lot more consolidation. So we've got equal highs over there. We've got equal lows down here. And price has just been back and forth between those two levels. So again, essentially just waiting for price to break out, and then I'll start to talk about dollar CAD's price action in a bit more detail, because inside of that range, there's not much for me to talk about. We might see a strong bullish candle like we did this morning, but then we might come straight back down again. So it just becomes noise pretty much. So unless dollar CAD can do something like this, hopefully with the Fed interest rate, actually, maybe we do see something like that this afternoon. And of course, likewise, the downside as well, there could be some nice shorts to take advantage of. Again, as I've been talking about for a while, long term for dollar CAD, I still do see more upside. I'm looking for a push all the way back to 1.46, 1.465, whether we just break to the upside and continue higher, or break lower to possibly come back and retest some support. That's up to dollar CAD, but eventually I do still see a push to 1.46. But in terms of opportunities, need price to be breaking out, and that's really what we're waiting for. In terms of Aussie dollar, I am pretty bearish on this one. I said I was looking for the retest of this area, but we are actually seeing pretty nice momentum right now. Things are looking pretty bearish again for pound. Where that came from for Aussie dollar. Things are looking pretty bearish right now for Aussie dollar, and possibly we might be looking at a continuation. The pullback hasn't been as big as I wanted it to be honest. So I haven't found the entry for this one, and hopefully we do still see some upside. Maybe the Fed interest rate can give us one more kick in that direction for some shorts. But again, my overall trajectory for Aussie dollar is a push back to these lows. Whether we get back to this area first and then fall, or the market falls without me, that's not really in my control. But in terms of the trend, in terms of momentum, things still look very, very bearish for this one. And actually, long term, I still see us coming back down there. So very, very bearish long term for Aussie dollar. The plan is just looking for good opportunities to short it. At the moment, don't really see one, and we're kind of in free fall at the moment. And New Zealand dollar, same situation here. A couple levels I do like on the daily chart. Price is kind of nowhere near them at the moment. That's the first level. And this is the second level. But again, expecting more downside. I do still see price taking out these lows to the left here pretty soon. So the plan was for New Zealand dollar to hopefully see a bit of a pullback and then short it towards these lows. And that could be a very nice swing trade. And that still is the plan. Of course, we haven't taken up those lows yet. We could very much still see another higher low form, another push to the upside. So staying patient. But again, in terms of areas of interest, 0.578 looks really good. 0.586 looks really good as well. Healthy levels of support in the daily time frame, which most likely will be turned resistant. So keeping a close eye at those levels. Of course, we're nowhere near there right now. So not much to do with New Zealand dollar, but I am pretty bearish, expecting more downside, just hoping we could have a bit bigger of a pullback first. And gold looking pretty bullish last time I had a look. Kind of stalling at the moment now. So possibly if gold does go for a bit of retracement, maybe does give you an opportunity to get involved. Again, the plan for gold is pretty simple. Looking for the break and retest of the high here at 27.20. Just missed that yesterday, unfortunately. Yeah, just missed it, and price is looking pretty bullish. Maybe we do come back down. Fed interest rate can have that effect on gold. And if I can see a solid respect of that level, I'll be looking for entries. Again, the plan would be to take out the all-time highs on the left. We do have the big psychological level of 28,100, not 28,100, 2800, just above us, just above the all-time high. So that's kind of the area I'm expecting gold to push into. But in terms of a trend, very, very confident uptrend. If I look at the weekly chart, see what price is doing, it's a very, very strong trend. You can look at the last week's candle close there, really confident close. The probability of us taking out that wick high there is pretty high. So yeah, I'm just going to see if I can take advantage of that and find a trade for myself. But in terms of where I want to find my entries, it's definitely down at this level. So if gold gets there, I'll be looking to take a trade. If it doesn't, I'll be sitting on the sidelines. And then, of course, you got your lovely silver, which yeah, silver, not a big fan of, to be honest. I am pretty bullish with this one. In terms of expectations of gold and silver, I'm just as bullish with both of them. I expect both of them to be seeing high prices pretty soon. But in terms of the price action on silver, it's not quite ready yet to be bought. It's actually still giving us lower highs here, one over there, second there. And because we're so corrective in this move and looks like price is struggling at resistance, this could be another lower high for another push to the downside. So in terms of looking to buy silver, it definitely isn't quite ready to be bought yet. Gold looks good. If it gets back to that 27.20 level, I'm looking to buy. Silver, on the other hand, not quite so. This channel looks like it's breaking to the downside. I mean, it's not the cleanest break in the world, but again, not something you want to see as a buyer. So for silver, I want to see price go and break through some highs again. Basically prove to me that this is a trend worth following. Then I'll look for some break and retest, some higher lows, and try and get involved that way. But at the moment, very, very choppy stuff, respecting the highs very well. Could get one more sell off to the downside for silver before we do get the buy. So I have to stay patient because we might have one more rollover left in store here. But looking to buy silver, not quite ready yet. Gold is pretty much ready, just waiting for entries at that level. So yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with USD going to the big news later on today. Meet, yes, I will take a look at dollar CHF for you, no problem. Elder, what is up? Hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. Gold forever, dollar yen. Okay, we'll take a look at that as well. I'll go through some indices whilst I'm on the topic of USD as well. But first, let me take a look at dollar CHF. So let me know what you're looking at, um, looking to do on dollar CHF. This one is looking a little bit corrective. I would still be pretty bearish with dollar CHF for two main reasons. The first one is because of where we're trading on the weekly chart. Massive, massive resistance on the weekly time frame. As you can see, respected it once, really big sell. Second time, really big sell. And now we're there for a third time and potentially could see another big sell. You can see already on the weekly chart, we've had a reaction there. So we had the bullish candle, the doji, and the bearish candle from last week. So we're seeing price respect that level as resistance again. So the possibility of another sell is definitely on the cards. In terms of the lower time frames, like the 4-hour hourly chart, things are pretty corrective. You can see it's not necessarily a clean bearish trend that we're witnessing right now. It's a very, very corrective one. Maybe a situation where we do push to the upside one more time before we do get a sell. I would say if you're on the lower time frames for dollar CHF, as long as we can keep up this bearish structure, shorts look good. I did suggest yesterday that if you are looking to short, you kind of want to anticipate some type of fake out and then use that to your advantage for a sell. Because if you look at the prior highs, we've kind of been doing that quite a lot. So you got consolidation there, bit of a fake out, nice drop to the downside, bit of a consolidation there, bit of a fake out, nice push to the downside, consolidation there, nice push to the downside. Here we didn't quite see it, consolidation, and price did drop, but no fake out. But here I would wait for that to happen. And the main reason I would wait for that to happen is because of this massive move here. Really strong impulse down, followed by a really strong impulse up. Not a healthy retracement that you usually want to see in terms of a continuation of a trend. You want to see price show momentum in one direction, then correctively move in the other. Of course, you're not going to always get it textbook like that. But in terms of impulse down, impulse up, not really a healthy sign. It might be actually a situation where we do actually reverse and we do see a push higher. So kind of waiting for that fake out, waiting for price to give us that signal there could be a really nice entry and at least put probability back in the favor of the sellers there. And of course, if we do break to the upside and take out the high here on the left, then yeah, we are most likely going to continue higher. But yeah, with dollar CHF, things look pretty bearish with this market structure. So still looking to short. And of course, knowing that we are respecting a big level on the weekly chart means that we could potentially sell off a lot further. So I'll keep looking for the sells until that structure breaks and proves otherwise. Okay, so we'll go through dollar yen. LDS, we'll take a look at oil for you, no problem. Yusuf, I'm doing good. Hope you're well. Yes, CHF we'll take a look at. Currently selling okay. Rogway, good morning. Hope you're well. Welcome. What's up? Follow the trend. Welcome to the stream. Hope you are doing good. Okay, so I'll go take a look at dollar yen. Now go through oil and Swiss yen as well. So dollar yen's actually still a pair which I'm looking to trade. It's on my watch list. I'm looking for entries. If price can come back down to that support level, I'll look to see if I can find an entry to take this higher. Again, essentially, dollar yen has come into my area of confluence, which is this brief pause in the market on the left. As you can see, we had a brief pause and a really big move to the upside. And of course, if I do whip out the fib, we just about spiked into the 0.5 of that Fibonacci retracement. So it's a nice area of confluence, which I'm looking to see if price can revisit. And then hopefully I can find my entries again on the 4-hour chart to take this back to the upside with targets more or less back at the highs there. But I will look to see if I can hold on and target the swing highs here on the weekly chart just below 162. We still do have a very confident trend here on the daily chart. So you've got the low down there, higher high, higher low, higher high. So again, anticipating another higher low. That's the kind of theory behind the trade there. We're looking to catch the higher low in anticipation that the trend's going to continue, which will take us back to the high. And if everything runs smoothly, potentially could take us all the way back to that swing high, which is more trying to follow the weekly trend. But yeah, dollar yen to me still looks really bullish. So looking for entries back down at that level. around 154. And if USD dollar is going to be bullish as well, that should help out this dollar yen bias as well. So we're going to see if we can get some entries. Hopefully, maybe the Fed can take us down first, and then we can see some entries later this week. Not necessarily later today, but maybe Thursday, Friday. But yeah, the plan for dollar yen is still very much looking for longs. In terms of oil, so oil I'm still very bearish on, expecting a lot more downside. We had that really nice weekly candle close last week, and it looks like this week we're kind of just seeing the continuation of that. So if I map out the highs here, so we can see we had first high over there, second, third, and of course, this is me anticipating the fourth with this massive wick. So looking at that as a bit of a fake out on the lower time frames, which we'll take a look at in a second. But as you can see, nice bullish close, doji, massive wick, and a really strong bearish kind of close last week. So essentially looking at that as a bit of an evening star pattern and expecting to see more downside, which can get us back to support around the 66 price level of support. So that is the plan there for oil. As long as you can respect that area, I do expect to see price sell off. Going to the daily chart, you can see the fake out there in all its glory. This is the resistance. I was looking for price to hold, of course, alongside with the trend line, and price did break through. So I was like, okay, so oil is looking very bullish. We might be onto a big move to the upside, but it turned out to be a big fake out, and price came straight back down again. So as I said, I do expect price to come back to support, which is around that 66 area there. So in terms of getting involved with silver, why do I keep saying silver? In terms of getting involved with oil, it's tricky because you kind of already want to be in the trade back over here. And if you're not in the trade over there, then you're trying to look to anticipate one of these lower highs if you're looking for intraday, which is not the worst thing in the world, to be honest. It just means that I wouldn't look for a push all the way back down to 66 if you're looking to try and get involved in one of these lower highs, because these are just kind of intraday opportunities. Price has a pullback for the day, it continues, and then it has another pullback for the day. And at some point, we probably will go for a bigger pullback. So it wouldn't be a situation where I would say get into a trade, hold it, because price is likely going to come back and probably take you out the trade there. So in terms of intraday opportunities, shorts do look really good here. I would suggest, because we haven't made new lows yet past this point here, I would suggest if we could maybe find some support, push back into the high, there could be some nice shorts. If we could take out the high there on the left, and then you can use that as an entry to capitalize on another bearish swing back into these lows, and then possibly call it a day there. But from a top-down perspective, it does look like oil's got a lot more downside. So primarily looking for shorts. Lower time frames are still being pretty consistent with these lower highs here. So as long as we continue with that, I do expect us to keep falling. So the idea will be, can we catch another one of those lower highs, ride it back to a prior low, and then maybe we can take it further. But yeah, if you're looking for a bigger swing, then you need to see a retracement at some point. But at the moment, things still look very bearish. So looking at another drop, if you're looking for some longs, I can understand maybe looking to try and catch a bounce here, or maybe a bounce at these areas here. We could bounce, but again, I do expect the bigger move to be to the downside. So if you do get into some buys, I would just keep it to the short term as well. But yeah, that's kind of my outlook for oil. We'll go through CHF JPY next. Follow the trend, pound CAD buys. Okay, we'll take a look with inverse head and shoulder at 1.78 on the 4 hour. Okay, we'll go through that as well. No problem. Gold, happy to help. And then I'd still hold the buy position. Okay, nice. What do you think I should move stop loss in the Apple buy position by at 2.2? Okay, I'll have a look at that one as well. No problem, Elder, happy to help. Okay, so pound CAD. You said you've got some buys for pound CAD with an inverse and shoulder at 1.78. Okay. Let me mark that on the chart. 1.78 is around there. And inverse head and shoulder. Let me see if I can spot that. Yeah, I can't quite see this inverse head and shoulder. Unless you're looking at like the left head, right. That's a bit of a stretch though. So yeah, let me know about this inverse head and shoulder because I can't quite see one unless maybe you're looking in there, but you said you're trading the 4-hour chart. And we just about made a new low past this low here as well. So technically it's not really inverse head and shoulder because we shouldn't be pushing past that low. So yeah, I can't quite see the inverse head and shoulder pattern. Maybe I'm just blind right now, but it's not clear cut to me. But in terms of the buy position, yeah, I mean, I've been talking about pound CAD getting back to the daily resistance here. So that's kind of where I'm expecting pound CAD to get to. What's up, Will? Welcome to the stream. I'm doing good. Hope you're well, too. So yeah, for pound CAD, I was talked about price push back to 1.81. So that's kind of the plan for the week, and then possibly some sales from there back down. And almost there, to be honest. We could see price use the news for today because we do have CAD interest rates today. So potentially, if CAD is weak from that, we might see price push to the upside quite aggressively for pound CAD, and before you know it, could be trading at 1.81. So we could see some nice continuation today. Of course, on the on the flip side, we can definitely see price come back down as well. So let's not forget that. But yeah, I would expect price to push back to 1.81. Whether it's going to be a clean move and we don't kind of wick down first to push up, yeah, that's up to the market. But I do expect us to get to 1.81. I suppose maybe your break even or something. Left shoulder at 2nd of Feb. 2nd of Feb. We haven't hit the 2nd of Feb yet. Unless you're talking about 2nd of Feb 2024. Then that's going to be ages ago. Oh, okay, 2nd of Jan. 2nd of Jan. Whereabouts is the 2nd of Jan? Oh, okay. Okay, I see it now. So you're talking about the left shoulder here, the head there, and then possibly right shoulder like that. Okay, I get you. I get you. No worries. No worries. Yeah, I mean, it does fit the pattern there. It does fit the pattern. I wouldn't say it's the most clear cut one, but yeah, it does make sense. Left head, and of course, you're expecting a correction for the right shoulder. Yeah, I would agree with that. Um, Again, it's probably not your textbook inverse head and shoulder pattern. I mean, the way I'll be looking at this is kind of more like a big V-shaped pattern here: impulse down, impulse back up again, correction, which is again essentially the inverse head and shoulder pattern as well. So yeah, I would favor the continuation. Then, of course, that being your neckline there. But yeah, I would fancy more upside for pound CAD. I like this big bullish candle here, really strong candle, kind of giving us a really strong move to the upside. So likely to see a correction of that, and that probably could take us back to the high there. So yeah, not looking too bad. I do agree with that kind of bias. I'm expecting the push to 1.81 anyway. Um, are you currently break even at the moment, or what's the plan with the trade? How are you looking to manage that? Are you going to look to hold through the news or close it before, or do you have a certain target you're expecting price to get to? GJ, okay, we'll have a look. Let me go through CHF JPY. Did I go through CHF? No, I completely forgot, didn't I? My bad. If I do forget to go through a pair, just remind me. I completely forgot about CHF JPY. Sorry, is it Yusuf? Yeah, apologies. Okay, you said you're currently short. Okay, so yeah, CHF JPY. I'm short bias as well, to be honest. I do expect to see a lot more downside for the yen pairs in general, maybe apart from dollar yen. But we have been pretty consistent with these lower highs. So you got the equal highs there, lower low, lower high, lower low, another lower high, and of course a lower low. So the plan is, can we form another lower high in this bearish sequence and continue back to the lows and go create some more? However, price has been very choppy and has been creating a lot of support here. So the price action hasn't been clean. So I'm kind of backing away from CHF Not that we can't go and break the lows and continue lower. In terms of a clean setup that at least fits what I'm looking for, hasn't quite presented itself there with CHF But again, long term, I'm expecting a really big drop for this one. Expecting price to really melt to the downside, but that could come in any shape or any shape or form. Really, we might push up first before that happens. A lot can happen. We might consolidate for a few weeks as well. But yeah, for CHF as long as we don't take out that high, there is a high chance of us coming back in into the low and continuing. But because we are very choppy now, I'm not the biggest fan of the shorts anymore. I'm not necessarily saying I'm expecting price to push up, but I'm just not. It doesn't give me much enthusiasm to take any trades here. Where's your entry? Did you say your entry? Yeah, I'm interested to know what your entry is. I'd assume maybe your target's back down at low, which of course makes sense. But because of how choppy we are, it just doesn't look as good anymore. But yeah, as long as we maintain that structure, there is a good chance of us selling off. And because again, of where we're trading on the higher time frames, particularly the monthly chart, because we've taken out this all-time high, I do expect to see a really big move to the downside for CHF in the next few weeks, couple of months. But that, like I said, that could take a while. We could consolidate for a few weeks before that happens. So yeah, it's important not to jump the gun. But yeah, not a big fan of the price action, I have to say. It's just a bit too choppy now. Okay, so I'll go through that Apple position, Ninad, asking where you should move your stop loss. Where's your stop loss originally? Okay, looking for buys in that area, haven't entered yet. Okay, makes sense, makes sense. Yeah, I would say so, yeah. Especially if maybe the CAD news is bullish for CAD and it sends us down a little bit, then we kind of turn around. That could be a nice setup there for um £4 CAD. Gold, yes, I'll go through GJ and Blessing. I'll go through Euro Yen. I'll just go through the yen pairs together. Let me just get this Apple position out of the way. So you said you had an entry 222.95. So that's around, let me mark it on the chart. Around there. That's 2285, but pretty much same area. So, okay. Apple's been very bullish. Apple's been kind to you yesterday. Really nice move there, Ninad. Really nice move. I remember yesterday, I think we were trading back here, weren't we? That was before the market opened for the day. And we absolutely flew to the upside. Let me go to the hourly chart. We absolutely flew there. I was saying watch out for this area because we could put another lower high and push back down, but price is actually going to broken structure just about. So this is more of a sign that we could probably see a bit more upside. Actually, no, I would be careful. If there wasn't such a big level to the left, then yeah, I would be a lot more confident in Apple coming back to the highs there. I think we probably will eventually, but we do have a big level on the left here to contend with, which I know it looks like price is sort of breaking through, but we could easily come back in, and that could cause a bit of a move to the downside. So I would say in terms of your stop loss, it depends how aggressive you want to be. If you want to kind of give yourself maximum amount of room to kind of breathe and possibly catch a swing to the high, it depends what you're looking for as well. Then I would say, just have your stop loss at break even really, and just kind of let the trade play out because you've already seen that initial momentum in your favor. Price is taking out highs there as well. So that's an indication that we could just see a correction and possibly continue back to the highs. If you want to be a slightly bit more aggressive, or conservative, I think is the better word. You can probably trail a stop just here. That way you lock in some gains. Of course, you're not necessarily giving price the maximum room to fluctuate before continuing in your direction, but at least you're below structure. So technically speaking, you don't really want to see price break that low anyway. If it does break that low, probably is going to come back to your entry anyway. So that way you can at least lock in some gains, and pay yourself and still give the market decent room to breathe. So I'll probably say that is probably the most sensible area in terms of trading a stop loss, because you're still protected by structure and you're still giving price room to potentially continue. We are respecting a pretty big level of resistance right now, so I do expect price to maybe fluctuate a little bit, even if it is going to continue higher. So yeah, I'll probably say just below the wick low there. So like 8.35, something like that, around there anyway. Doesn't have to be that price exactly, but yeah, that would make sense. And at least that way you lock in some gains as well. But yeah, really nice move there. Entries 172.613. Okay. 172.613. Okay, so right up the high there. Okay, that's a pretty healthy place. I would imagine you're break even by now. So yeah, I mean it's a really nice position. You're in decent amount of profit there. I'd imagine your stop loss was probably originally above the high there. Probably moved that to break even. Of course, I don't know how you manage your trade, but you probably would have by now. But yeah, we are forming support there, so that is a bit of a worrying sign. Us taking this long to continue, you kind of would expect us to be back at the lows by now. If you look at the prior swings to the left, we didn't really waste much time getting back to the lows. The fact that we are create support like that does give me heebie-jeebies a little bit. We might push back to the high before coming down there. So I'd watch out for that. But yeah, as long as we don't take out that high, I do have a bearish bias for CGFJPY as well. Wouldn't like the news to cut me short. Okay, yeah, true. Again, that's completely up to you. That's just my 2 pence of how I would look to manage it. But then again, it depends on that, what you're looking for initially. If you're looking for a small move on Apple and you've caught much more than you expected to catch, then you can throw your stop loss very, very close to price because you've already expected, or you already got the return you want to see. If you were looking for the swing all the way back to the high, and of course you still got a long way to go, then you want to give yourself a bit of room to work with, because the goal you initially had is not quite met yet, but you still want to maybe lock in some gains. So it really depends what you're looking at for initially as well. But of course, that will be up to you. But yeah, if you don't want to get caught in news, you can always close some positions or trade it more aggressively. That's going to be up to you. Anyway, let's go through some of the yen pairs. So I'll start with pound yen, and I'll go through euro yen, and then we'll go through the rest of them. So last time we spoke about the yen pairs, I said I wasn't really too happy with the price action, very, very choppy stuff. And that has been the truth since in the past 24 hours. We haven't really gone anywhere. We have seen a bit of bearish momentum, and then it was bullish again. Then it was a bit of sideways. So overall, not really big fan of the price action. I am still, however, pretty bearish on pound yen. And as I've said for many times, I'm still looking for this as a big correction for price to sell off. That's still the play in my mind. That's still what I'm looking to try and take advantage of. In terms of a trade, I wouldn't mind to see if price can come back to the high here, respect it, and I look for some shorts. I wouldn't mind that, because at that point I can probably get myself to break even, because the only reason why I don't like this short opportunity is because we have been very consistent with these higher lows. So you've got one over there, second there, third, and you've got your fourth there as well. So the market is pretty consistent with these higher lows. And let's say if I do get a short from there, there's a good chance we could see number 5, and then price turns against me, and then say goodbye to those floating profits, which isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world, because again, if you can lock in some gains before, or at least get your stop loss to break even. There's no risk involved, and if you do catch the break, whoop-de-doo, could be a really big trade there. So it isn't necessarily such a bad thing. It just means that you have to be careful because we could put in that next higher low. So in terms of opportunities, I wouldn't mind some shorts up here for pound yen at 194.5. I would love to see a big push all the way back to the high here at 199.6 for some shorts as well. That way I can get a really nice stop loss, maximize my risk to reward, and get a decent entry where if things go my way, I can look to hold into that entry for quite a while because it's right at the top there. So price is going to have to reverse quite a big distance to take me out of the trade. But these are the two areas which look good to me. This area will have to be a bit more careful in terms of the trade and management of that trade. Same with this trade, same with any trade, but I know that because my entry is right at the high, if things do go well, it could be a situation where you really look to maximize the potential of that trade and look to hold for the long run. This situation, I've got to be careful with that fifth higher low, which could fall. But yeah, in terms of the bias, it is short bias. I'm not really interested in any of the buys for pound yen. So 194.45 and 199.45 as well. Keep an eye for some sells. In terms of euro yen, I'm not as much of a fan of this pair as pound yen. Pound yen looks a little bit cleaner. Pound yen's not great, but looks a little bit cleaner. Euro yen, I still don't really like the pair. We had some really nice lower highs not long ago, but since then we have actually broken structure and broken this to the upside. So since we did that, that has pretty much put me off the pair, and I haven't been looking to trade it since. And I'm kind of looking at this more as consolidation rather than any type of bullish or bearish structure, really. Again, same situation for pound yen in terms of the overall direction, looking for us to come back to the swing lows here. Still looking at this as a really big impulse, and this is a correction, and looking for price to continue to take out the lows there. So that's really what I'm expecting price to do for euro yen in the long run. But in terms of catching that trade, that's where it becomes a little bit difficult. I do like the high here. I'm looking to see if price can get there and retest that high. That at the moment is the only area which I would look to get involved with euro yen. If price was to push all the way up there, that would be the only situation which I would actually look for entries. Of course, we're still pretty far away from that. Not really interested to get involved in here. I mean, from an intraday point of view, because Blessing, I know you're a bit more on the intraday timeframes. It does look like we're probably going to get a drop here back to the lows. We broke structure a couple of days ago, and looks like price is kind of having a bit of a correction here for possibly another continuation lower. So there could be a situation where we have another correction and another push back to the low. Then this could be what you're looking for to get into a trade. So something like that could look good in the hourly time frame. And yeah, targeting that low will make a lot of sense as well. At least back at this low, let's say if we pull back, that would be a sensible low to target. But if we can see a nice drop this afternoon or whenever, really, just to show that okay, we're getting some continuation with the bears, and we don't kind of form support and push back up again, then things get really, really choppy. But if we could see a nice continuation at some point, yeah, that could be a nice little short to take advantage of, and yeah, swing it back to where we came from, 159.8. But in terms of the 4-hour chart, it looks way too messy, so I'm kind of just waiting for opportunities up at that level. But yeah, I prefer pound yen, so I'm more focused on that one anyway. If we can break the lows there, euro yen can become quite interesting again on the lower time frames. So yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with euro yen. We'll take a look at CAD yen and the rest of the yen pairs in the moment. We'll go through the yen basket as well. Yes, we'll take a look at Eurozar as well. Pharaoh Games. No problem, Yusuf. Happy to help. And we'll take a look at pound ZAR. Let me just get through the yen pairs, and then I'll take a look at those requests. So CAD yen, I don't really like, to be honest. Again, same higher time frame bias as euro yen and pound yen. Again, massive impulse to the downside. Still looking at this as a correction for price to continue lower. That's still very much the play, but you can see we're taking our sweet time with that. In terms of lower time frame opportunities, we're becoming really corrective in this move here as well now. So this becomes not really attractive to trade. I did say early in the week, if you were to see a strong break of the low here, then pullbacks could become interesting. So looking at another pullback, maybe a retest of support, turn, resistance. We have been pretty consistent with these lower highs. If you could see that again, that would be great. Find the next lower high and maybe catch that bearish leg into these lows, because that's what I'm expecting CAD Yen to get to, back to 103. So very, very bearish in CAD Yen. However, in terms of finding entries, we're a little bit starved here. So if price can pick up some momentum and start like a trending market again, that would be great. Right now, it's just very, very corrective and borderline consolidation. But if you can see a strong drop, take the lows out well. A retest of the low could look good. 107.5, of course. We'll monitor that as it goes. In terms of the specifics, in terms of where we're looking to find entries, we'll call that closer to the trade, but roughly this is something we could be looking at and looking to take it back into the lows there. So yeah, very, very bearish in CAD Yen. I also do like the possibility if we were to push all the way back to the high here as well. Of course, we're very far away from that, but if the market was going to do that, that would be really nice. Find some entries up there, similar to pound yen, similar to euro yen. Find entries right at the high, stops above, and could catch a really big swing into the low. And that's something that I would really be up for. But we'll see if CAD Yen does make that move or not. In terms of Aussie yen and New Zealand yen, these guys, last time I checked, still consolidating, and that is still the situation. So again, with these, I'm not really interested in the price action, just very, very sideways. And yeah, not much for me to do until we can break out, whether to the upside or to the downside. Not really too bothered. I do feel like there'll be some nice opportunities regardless of the direction. If you do break to the upside, as I've said, I'm looking for a push back to the high here on the left at 102.3, or kind of that area in general. Doesn't have to be specifically that high, but this resistance between 101.5, 102, that makes a load of sense. And if we break to the downside, then looking for a push back into support on the left, which is just below us here. But I do think eventually we'll probably come back into the low here as well. So if it expands the daily chart, we can get a better view. So if we break to the upside, looking for a push back into resistance, break to the downside, back into support, then eventually that low as well. So it's just really waiting for price to make its move. There's no point trying to predict which way price is going to break out prior to the breakout of the range, because if you predict price breaking to the upside and it breaks to the downside, you can still find an opportunity going down. And if it breaks to the upside and it does go to the upside, you just take the trade anyway. So it's really just waiting for price to make its mind up, and I'm not really interested in finding opportunities in the middle. In terms of New Zealand yen, same situation as well. Lovely consolidation, back-to-back consolidations for both of these pairs. We had a really nice range over there. Price, of course, broke through that, and now we've come back into a second one here as well. So very, very choppy stuff for these pairs as of late. But again, if you can break to the upside, could be some really nice opportunities on some pullbacks back into the same high here on the left, which is 92 roughly. So that's kind of what we're looking at. And if you do break to the downside, could be looking at some opportunities back into the low. Well, there's a low there to watch out for, but this is really the low I'll be looking to target. So again, if you go to the daily chart, this is the idea we're looking for. So a buy back into there or sell back into the low really is the plan. So again, just waiting for price to make its mind up, and then hopefully you can find some opportunity shortly afterwards. But inside the range, not really interested with price. And then if I have a quick look at the JPY basket. Okay, so yeah, this one yesterday I said we might get pushed to the upside and then a continuation back down again. We're looking semi-bullish right now with the yen basket. So again, we have this really strong move to the upside. Looks like we're forming some higher lows there as well. So we might see price kind of continue back to that resistance. If I drop to the 4-hour chart, so back into that high, maybe form a big double top and then continue, which could take us back into this low and maybe back into that low as well, because we are forming these lower highs in the daily chart we need to watch out for. Same what pound yen is doing, but flipped, of course, and some of the other yen pairs as well. We've got one high over there, second high, third high. This could be number 4 in a prior to another drop back to these lows and maybe new lows as well. So with the yen basket, although we have looked a little bit bullish over the past couple of days, watch out as we do come back into resistance, because we very much could sell off again. And of course, if that's the case, we could see pound yen fly, CAD yen fly, euro yen fly as well, because of course they're inversely correlated. So do need to keep a close eye on that. But yeah, that's really where I'm at with the yen pairs for now. Do you think maybe we'll probably see a bit more downside, but the bigger move might still be to the upside, at least back to these areas, and then we can speak about potential reversal. Anyway, we'll go through Euro ZAR and Pound ZAR. We'll go through gold as well for Amrit as well. Atch, welcome to the stream. What are you thinking about NAS? Okay, I'll go through US 100 as well. I'll go through some indices. I was supposed to go through them earlier, but completely forgot. But yeah, we'll take a look at NAS. We'll go through S&P as well and the Dow Jones. But let me just get these ZAR pairs out of the way. So Pound ZAR, I don't think I've actually looked at Pound ZAR before. Maybe I have, but definitely not for my personal trading. Maybe someone requested at one time on stream. Okay, yeah, it looks like I have looked at it back over in 2023 November, so it's over a year ago. Yeah, not necessarily the most popular pair in the world, but so that's how crazy it has been, because over a year ago I was talking about a push back to take out those highs there, which is still what I would favor today. Looking at the price action now, very clean up trend, still seeing higher highs and higher lows. There's our prior high. There's a good chance we're going to see price go and take out that high there. So I would expect price to see the same move, but it's been over a year since we've gone anywhere. Price just consolidated, so that's not great, because I'm not too sure about the swap cost for this one, but I do think you probably will be paying swaps if you're buying Pound ZAR. So if you're bought this one and you're holding on to a buy, expecting price to take up the highs there, it probably doesn't even become cost effective anymore, because the swaps probably will be killing you right now. Even if it does become a winner, it might not even be a winner overall, because a year plus in swaps, especially an exotic currency like this, will be heavy, 100%. I haven't traded Pound ZAR before, so I don't know how heavy, but I would expect it to be. But anyway, yeah, I do expect this to push the upside. I have marked out this level here, which we may push into still. We may still see price give us one more move to the downside and then see that continuation. So that could be a situation there. But yeah, in terms of buys, I'll kind of focus my efforts down at the low here, because at least I know I'll be able to catch at least some type of reaction. So as you can see, every time we do take out a new low, price does push down, nice push back up again. We take out the low, nice push up again. We have come pretty close to taking out the low here, but not quite yet. So I would fancy Pound ZAR to go and do that, and possibly there might be some nice buys to take it back up again. Don't have to look for that move, of course. I wouldn't advise it, to be honest, really, with the consolidation. It doesn't really make much sense, but you could probably catch a nice reaction and then call it a day, maybe as we do come back into some resistance. And you can look to lock in some gains there. But yeah, Pound ZAR, I would fancy the buys. It is very, very choppy here, so it's difficult in terms of looking the sells. I mean, in terms of shorts, I'll probably wait for a push back to the high there. So if price was to push back to 23.7, I would say the shorts there look decent. We've been forming these lower highs here. 1, 2, 3. You could see number 4 in that area there again. Another drop to the downside, take out the lows, then could be a nice buy to take it back down, back to the upside again. But because we are sideways, you want to focus your efforts right at the top or down at the low. You don't want to be caught in the middle here. That's no man's land. But yeah, buys around 22.38 look good. Sells around 23.7 look good as well. And in terms of Eurozar, no problem. Very happy to help. Okay, take care. We'll have a good one, my man. We'll hopefully see you tomorrow. Still keep your eyes on Euro yen. Yeah, it's taking its sweet time. Hopefully, with the news later today, it will kind of sort itself out. Anyway, so in terms of Eurozar, I've talked about this a few times actually. A few people request Eurozar, yeah, we've been being pretty consistent with these lower highs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Potentially, there could be another one forming pretty soon back at the high here. I do think price has a good chance of making it back to that level. I talked about some buys over here. We did see a really nice move to the upside. Again, just a simple break and retest, solid resistance, acting as support. Price held it very well. Nice move to the upside. So I said if we can then break through this, there could be some nice buys on another break and retest because, of course, we've respected this area a few times now. So if you can break and retest this, that'll make a load of sense. And we can trade it back to 20.3. I know at the moment we've respected the high pretty well. And it looks like we're having a bit of a sell-off again. Maybe we form a bit of a range now, and there could be another buy as we come back down. But in terms of the bigger move for Eurozar, I am looking for a push there. If we are going to sell off again and come back to the low, I would wait for us to break through this support level first. So if you can break through this support level, then we can speak about some shorts back to that area there. And then this becomes a really attractive swing. But yeah, I would still expect us to make it back to that high. If we are going to sell, I'd wait for 19.2 to break and then look for some shorts underneath. And then you've got a pretty clear target to aim for back down at that lower 18.5. So that's really what I'll be looking at for Eurozar. Right now, this is kind of a range. So I would kind of stay away from inside of that. If we can break it to the upside, opportunities look good on the break and retest. And likewise to the downside, opportunities look good for some shorts. But yeah, I'm kind of looking for something like this, move up and then possibly another sell. Anyway, I'll go through gold next, and then we'll take a look at the NAS as well. And we'll go through some other indices too. If you have any requests for any markets you guys want to look at, just drop it down in the chat. Soon after, we'll go through some of the crosses, some CHF pairs, and some CAD pairs, which are kind of very interesting at the moment. Of course, we do have the Bank of Canada at 245, I think. Yep, 245 Bank of Canada. So I'm going to see what happens with CAD. Anyway, so in terms of gold, so gold I'm very bullish on. I'm looking for buys in gold. However, we've just missed my level, but I'm kind of hoping that maybe we do get a bit of a sell-off today. There's a lot of news, so it could happen. And I get some buys around 27.20. I'm looking to see if I can take gold back to the all-time highs. I marked out the psychological level just above us at 2,800. I do think there's a good chance we do get there for gold. So very, very bullish on gold. Still do see a lot more upside for this one. 27.20 looks like a really decent level, solid resistance there, which now, of course, will be turned into support. There's a good chance price is going to respect that area and take us back to the high. Just need to get there, to be honest, to actually find that entry. But yeah, in terms of what gold is doing, really confident trend in the higher time frames. A lot of momentum still in the market. Very, very close to the all-time high. So the probability of us taking up the highs is pretty high. Weekly chart. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. If you go to the weekly chart, you can see last week's candle close very, very bullish. So there's a lot of momentum in the market as well from the prior week. So the probability of us seeing price go take up the upper wick there and take out the all-time high, again, is pretty high. So there's numerous reasons why gold can still see a bit more upside. So if we do push down first, probably gives us a nice chance to get into gold and take it to the upside. But that there is the setup I am looking at. And you can see, of course, all these higher lows we've been stacking to the upside as well. So let's see if we can catch the next one. In terms of NAS, so yeah, I'm pretty bullish on the indices in general. NAS has been a little bit awkward, to be honest, because at the start of the week, I was just looking for price to possibly come back, retest some structure here, and find some buys and just kind of continue this trend to the upside. We had all these high lows again pushing, so I was looking for the next one, but price gap to the downside very aggressively, and of course, start of the week very bearish. So it's been a bit of an awkward one. I did say for NAS, some buys down here could look good right at the low. Didn't quite get there, unfortunately, just missed it, by a small margin, and now price is looking pretty bullish again. It looks like we probably are going to push to go and fill the gap. So, of course, you got the gap there from the start of the week, and it looks like price is probably going to go and take out, go fill the gap there, probably by the end of the week. So, in terms of the overall direction, very bullish. In terms of where I think we're going today, I would say more upside. In terms of opportunities, I'll look for some type of intraday opportunity. So maybe if I drop to the 15-minute time frame, something like this could look good. Let's say if we spike downside one more time, maybe you go and retest the high there or retest this brief consolidation here, because of course that's where we had a brief pause where all that momentum came from. Generally speaking, this area looks like a nice place for a buy. At least take it back to the high and possibly at least to the start of that gap there. I expect the gap to fill. It might not fill completely this week, so you might start filling it this week and then finishing it by next week. But in terms of push to the start of the gap, which is around 21,600, I would say there's a pretty good chance that by Friday we probably have at least hit that price there. Like I said, whether we go and fill the gap by Friday, I think it's a little bit more up in the air, but I would expect price at least go and hit that area. We had a really steep reversal because although we sold off a lot of momentum, price shot back up, and we haven't really seen much selling pressure creep in. Bit of a consolidation there as well, but another strong push to the upside. So buyers look like they're back in control from an intraday point of view as well. I would say some buyers that look like that, a retest of that structure, could give some nice entries. And yeah, I expect us to get to that low end of the gap there. So NAS, I'll expect a lot more upside. In terms of S&P, if you guys are enjoying the stream, by the way, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. I do appreciate everyone who has liked the stream so far. If you are enjoying it, do drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does help out. And of course, hit the bell so you don't miss on any streams or uploads in the future. But yeah, for NAS 100, this one has already got to the gap. If I drop to the hourly chart, you can see a little bit better. So there's the low of the gap. We've already gone and hit that. So maybe S&P probably has a good chance of actually filling the gap then by Friday. We're not too far away from doing that, to be honest. Let me drop to the 15-minute chart, actually. So if we drop to the 15-minute chart, this one's already pulled back into a nice area. So again, we possibly could see prices go and continue to take out that high there as well. So to me, very bullish stuff for the S&P as well. I think because how aggressively we sold off, followed by how aggressively we recovered, that is a big indication that we could probably see more upside in the short term as well. Because this was a really big sell-off for the indices. But the fact that within like the next 2 days, we kind of recovered pretty much the whole move, because of course the move started, it's technically started up here, but from this week anyway, the move started here and it gave us that massive sell. We pretty much erased all of that. So this sell becomes a little bit less significant, and with such a impressive recovery, we probably are going to push back to the highs there for the S&P in the next few days. But first thing first, probably going to go fill that gap probably by the end of Friday. And US 30, I'm pretty sure, is looking very bullish as well. Yeah, pushing to the upside too. We've got the all-time highs on the left, which we haven't quite seen price go and take out. So I would expect US 30s to go and do that pretty soon. Again, if I do drop to the hourly chart, still seeing a lot of bullish behavior. So again, if you could see maybe another push down, tag some areas of resistance, will be acting as support. That could look like a really nice entry maybe this afternoon. Again, it's a little bit tricky because we do have the Fed interest rate. So it's not like a normal day in the market where, let's say, New York session opens, we see a bit of a move down, then find some entries. You can only look to hold that trade for like 3 or 4 hours until the news does come out. And in 3 or 4 hours, we're probably not going to be taking out the highs. Might not even be taking out these highs here as well. So it could be a situation where you're in some profit. News is about to come out. You probably want to pull the trade just in case we do kind of whipsaw back and forth, because you might still be in the right direction, but because of your refined entry and tight stop loss, especially if you're trading like the hourly chart and below, there's a good chance price is going to wick you out the trade, even if it is going to go to the upside anyway. It's probably going to wick you out and then make the move. So it's probably best just to close the trade, take the profit, or just close the trade in general, because you could get slipped too, which is not great. So not only do you lose your floating profits, but take a bigger loss than you expected, which is just a big slap in the face, really. But yeah, with US 30 term direction, looking for buys. It'd be nice if we could see a slightly deeper correction as well, retest that higher there too. That would be nice. Maybe if the news does take us down, maybe then tomorrow morning or tomorrow New York session, there could be some nice buys setting up. But in terms of direction, expecting new highs past 45K pretty soon. So yeah, very, very bullish for US 30, very bullish for the US indices in general. Yusuf has been a small account. How much percentage of profit and loss should I focus on daily to avoid overtrading? Well, you shouldn't really be focusing on profit and loss per day in general, whether you've got a big account or a small account. Again, trading is all about applying an edge to the market. And you could be up 2% in a day, you could be down 2% in a day. And then tomorrow it could be the other way around. So it's not really want to focus day by day, because some days there is no trade to take, and you want to be focused on taking setups that fit your plan well. So as a beginner, I would highly recommend that you just focus on nurturing your skill set and trying to find your feet in the markets in terms of your strategy, your edge, back testing it very aggressively, trying to learn everything about that edge as much as possible before you do go and trade a small account. If you're already at a stage where you're comfortable with your edge and comfortable with your strategy and you want to kind of test the waters with a small account, then that's fine as well. But then again, it's difficult with a small account because depending on how small the account is, you can't really refine your lot size to a small amount. Say, for example, if you want to risk 2% on a trade, you might not have a small enough lot size to actually do that. Depending on which market and which chart you're trading, you might can only risk 5% because the lowest lot size is 0.01, and that might be equivalent to 5% of your account, depending how small your account is. So it's there's not kind of really one size that fits all, really, as the answer to your question. Like I said, if you are confident in your strategy, confident in your trading, and you're looking to start a small account, then just keep the risk small. The smaller the better, really, because with a small account, you're not necessarily looking to make big gains there. It's just about kind of finding your feet and trading with real money. So just keep the risk as small as possible, I would say. But if you're not at that stage where you're confident with your strategy and you're kind of just opening a live account just for the sake of it, I would say save your money, put that to one side, practice, really, really dive into your back testing. And then once you come to a very confident stage, then you can go and revisit that account again. But like I said, there is no answer really to that question. As small as possible is really the answer, especially as a beginner. Anyway, we'll go through some of the CAD pairs because they're very interesting for today, especially with the interest rates this afternoon. So I'm not really a big fan of Euro CAD or Pound CAD, but I do like the look of New Zealand CAD. Aussie CAD's still a little bit choppy as well, although I'm pretty bearish on that one too. But New Zealand CAD does look pretty good. I'll get to that one in a second. But with EuroCAD, again, it's an extremely flat market. We're not really showing much momentum at all, really. So it's not really something I'm interested in. This is, of course, the daily chart. But I like looking at the daily to get the overall kind of view of what price is doing, which is absolutely nothing here for EuroCAD. And then, of course, looking at the lower time frames, there has been some nice moves here and there, but nothing really sustained for a long time here. So with EuroCAD, we've come back to some resistance. Price is having a hard time respecting it. Depending what we do with news, if CAD is, let's say if CAD's weak, then of course EuroCAD is probably going to push to the upside. So there could be some nice buys here for EuroCAD, although because we're coming to resistance, I would advise not to. Even if you do see a nice push, you have to watch out for that resistance that we don't come right back down again. Of course, with the news, you probably would have enough energy to break through, but equally, even if you do buy before, the news could go against you as well. But yeah, EuroCAD, I do still fancy a push back to the daily resistance above us. So that's still kind of what I'm looking for EuroCAD. However, in terms of buying that, it would be nice to see price trading above that 4-hour resistance, and we can be using that as support to take us back to the upside. Right now, it kind of just had a bit of a fake out here, and if anything, we could use that to sell off a little bit. So with EuroCAD, I don't really see a clear-cut opportunity given the fact that the higher time frames are sideways as well. It just really is a very choppy market. Actually, if we were to get back to the high, there could be some nice shorts here because at least we can get decent stop loss. Again, I wouldn't suggest looking for a big move anyway. So not really liking the price action for EuroCAD. I don't really see a clear-cut opportunity. As for PoundCAD, I don't mind this one. We have seen a pretty nice bullish trend for a while. Price has been seeing higher highs and higher lows. However, as we approach the high, the market has been running out of some momentum and we're forming some equal highs here as well. So £4 CAD, because of that, it looks like if we were to get back to that resistance again, we probably will go through another big rejection and possibly see a lot more downside there. So for pound CAD, we've had a really nice bounce off the low with respect to that low very, very well. So I still do see more upside back to that resistance, 1.81. Then once we get there, we can see our price reacts and probably start to look for some sells on the way back down again. But for now, I do fancy a bit more upside. We spoke about this briefly before. Looks like it might be going through a bit of a flag correction here. I like the big bullish engulfing candle at the start of, actually, no, at the end of last week. It looks like price might want to have a bit of a correction of that. And that could be what takes us back to 1.81. So that's really what I'm looking for pound CAD. And then, of course, we can speak about some shorts later. As for New Zealand CAD, I do like the sales of this one, especially from a top-down perspective, because I'm looking at all of these major highs prices forming, and they're all lower highs. And it looks to me that price has printed another one just over here. So I'm expecting us to go and take out these lows at some point. And my plan is, can I find a lower high on the lower time frames to ride it back into that low? Eventually, I do expect us to get down here, but we'll save that discussion for another day because we are pretty far away. But for now, if you drop to the 4-hour chart, you can see how consistent we've been with these lower highs. So we've got one over there, second over there, third over there, and now I'm looking for a fourth, which may have already printed. And I want that to be so because I'm looking for either a lower high or an equal high to get into a trade for some shorts to ride it back into this low here. Then, of course, if everything goes well, back into the daily swing low down there. But yeah, I've got some really nice confluence here. As you can see, this brief pause in the market on the left where we consolidated for a few days. Really strong move to the downside with all that momentum. And as you can see, price is back into that same area again. So I'm looking for some opportunities there for some shorts. And I'm pretty sure we've come into the trend line if I connect these lower highs there. Maybe just missed it. But then again, if we were to have another retest, we probably will go and hit the trend line, and we probably pull back into at least the zero point 0.5. As you can see, into the 0.618 there. So there's a lot of confluence here for New Zealand CAD. As long as we can respect this area, there's a good chance a lower high does form. And of course, if that's the case, you expect price to come back into the swing low, which is just around 0.8. And as I said, I do think price can go a lot further as well. So New Zealand CAD to me ticks a lot of boxes. Really nice confidence in that area. And we're an area where there's a good chance for a lower high to form in general. So if I can find my entries, it's a trade worthwhile. Risk reward looks pretty good. And hopefully we can look to ride that back down to its respective lows. But yeah, very, very bearish for New Zealand CAD. What's up, Chris? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Yep, we're good. We're good. Hope you're doing good as well. What's up, Regina? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Holy One already in Aussie CAD, been a few days. New Zealand CADs. I thought it was Aussie CADs you were in a position for. I thought you were shorting Aussie CAD, or was it New Zealand CAD? I mean, you're the person trading, so you'll know. But yeah, I'm looking to see if I can get involved with New Zealand CAD. I'm looking to see if price can come up one more time before I do click the trigger with this one. But yeah, I'm very, very bearish, looking for us to get to the lows. But the only thing is we do have the CAD news as well. So you do have to watch out. For that this afternoon. Oh, okay, you're in both. Oh, both fair play. Okay, everyone's getting it. Oh, you've updated. Okay. Okay. Yeah, New Zealand CAD looking good there. So yeah, with of course New Zealand CAD, Aussie CAD, they'll probably do the same thing as well. So if one of them gets back to the lows, good chance the other one as well. But I'm looking to see if I can get involved with New Zealand CAD. Not a big fan of Aussie CAD because it's broken through one of my trend lines, so I'm losing that confluence. But New Zealand CAD still playing by the rules here. So if you can hold that area, that'd be great. There is, of course, the CAD interest rate to keep an eye on for Holy One, because you're in two CAD pairs, so twice the drama. If it's in your direction, happy days, of course, against you. But to be honest, you probably will at least walk out with a break even, I would expect. Okay, it took them different accounts, no conflict. Okay, it makes sense as well. Makes sense. But yeah, that's kind of my take on New Zealand CAD. In terms of Aussie CAD, I do have the same bias, but just because we have broke through the trend line, although it looks like we're breaking back underneath now. So if I whip out the trend line here, as you can see, it does look like price is actually starting to break back underneath the trend line as well. So it might be a bit of a fake out there for price to continue low, which is a good sign for me for New Zealand CAD as well, because I wouldn't want a situation where New Zealand CAD is respecting a trend line and Aussie CAD is breaking through. It's a bit of a contradiction between the two. So if Aussie CAD has just faked it out a little bit and now we're coming back down again, then that's a good indication of, okay, we're probably going to get that sell now. So hopefully we do stay within this trend line, and I would expect Aussie CAD to come back into the low here. And I do like Aussie CAD in terms of the risk reward, because if it does play out, I do think Aussie CAD is going to come all the way back down to the lows here, which is at 0.859. So in my book, Aussie CAD's got a long, long way to go. And yeah, it could be bearish for a while. Chris, how big the US news for today? Is it one of the big movers, and will it affect a trade with high time frame levels in place? I mean, any trade could do, any news can affect a trade really. But yeah, today is definitely one of those days. It's the Fed interest rate. And we've got the Bank of Canada as well. So if you're trading like USD CAD, for example, you kind of got two big events to look out for there. But yeah, Fed interest rate can cause big moves. Not all the time. Sometimes it can be a little bit tainted sometimes. But in terms of the lower time frames, because you could be trading a higher time frame level on the lower time frames. For example, price can come up to a daily level resistance, but then you could drop to an intraday time frame like the 15-minute for entries. So although yes, you're trading from a daily time frame, a daily level, but in terms of your risk, it's still refined to a lower time frame. So your risk still probably be like 20 pips or something like that, maybe even a lot lower. And then yeah, you're going to be at risk 100% with the news there. So although yes, you might be at a um, daily daily level, if your risk is still based on a 15-minute chart, you're still gonna be at risk with the news there. So I'd watch out for that. But then it's all the way at 7 p.m. UK time. So the London session will be done, New York session will be done as well. So you can it's a comfortable time to close a trade for. It's not like it's in the middle of the New York session, which can be a bit annoying sometimes. It's right at the end of the day, so you can look to close trades before that, and maybe if you're on a decent amount of profit, you can probably look to hold through. But um, I'd probably advise not to if you're on the lower time frames. But yeah, the Fed interest rate can be a big mover, regardless if you're on the high time frame level or not. Of course, you expect it to work in your favor though, if you're based on the higher time frames, but it could go against you before it does go for you. So yeah, if your risk is refined to an intraday time frame, I would avoid holding through that. What's up, Darkashon? Welcome to the stream. Got a long signal GJ, 5 minutes, trying to get back up for 70 pips. Okay, we'll take a look at that one as well. Yeah, already in Aussie CAD. Yeah, I mean, they're both looking pretty good. Both should be in a bit of profit there, Holy One. So let's hope we can see price continue to melt. I mean, I do expect to see both of them continue down, but then yeah, it's up to what CAD does. I mean, even if CAD is bearish, let's say, and we do push up, it just might be a situation where we pull back to continue lower. So yeah, but from a technical standpoint, they both look like they're set to see some downside. In terms of pound yen, if I have missed out a pair, someone's requested, just drop it in the chat. So yeah, for pound yen, I am looking for some shorts back at this level, 194.6, 194.5, we'll call it, and also back at the high there. If that first level doesn't hold, I will look for some entries up at that resistance. Of course, I know for you, Dark Sean, you're looking at the 5-minute chart. So let me scale right down and see what's going on in the world of the 5 minute. So yeah, so okay, so a lot happens on the 5-minute chart, doesn't it? Because of the 4-hour chart, I come back the following day, the chart's basically looking the exact same, minus maybe one or two candles. Yesterday we were over here, and then since we last spoke, all of this price action has happened. So yeah, because of course I'm very used to the higher time frames, but sometimes it does take me off guard a little bit looking at the 5-minute chart and seeing all of this price action has happened since we last spoke. Like this will take a solid like 3 months on the 4-hour chart. But yeah, on the 5-minute chart, a lot has happened. So we did see a bit of a move to the upside first. I mean, market was quite choppy. I was speaking about some buys coming to this area here yesterday, and we did see a slight move to the upside. Didn't quite come into that resistance there, but price did have a really big sell. After that, we had a lot of consolidation here. I suppose most of this is kind of the end of the day. Yeah, that's from like 5 p.m. So New York session start to dry off there a little bit. And then coming into Asian session, we had a bit of a sell. And looks like London, we've seen a continuation of that. So you said you got into a long. Where's the message? Yeah, it got into a long 70 pip back move. So I'll imagine your entries somewhere in here. And a 70 pip move would take us back to the highs here, roughly. So yeah, I mean, not a bad area for an entry, I would have to say, because of course you're coming back into this area here, really strong move to the upside. Now coming back into another one of those areas where again we might see a push to the upside. Now there is no kind of real trend at play here for pound yen on the 5-minute chart. This is really consolidation. We do have some of these higher lows here. So one, two, this could be the third one. And we do have these lower highs here as well. So the market's kind of just squeezing a little bit with those lower highs and these higher lows here. So it is pretty much just a ranging market. So if you are looking to trade this one, you want to focus your efforts right at the low, which is where you find your entry, which is nice, or right at the high here, which I assume is kind of where your target is as well, which makes a load of sense too. But the market is kind of just squeezing here. So eventually we're going to commit to a direction, whether it's up or down, not too sure. But there is a breakout on the cards here. But yeah, GJ is a nice place for a buy. Targets around 193.7 make a lot of sense. I would suggest that this area could be a bit of a curveball. We might push into that area and come back down again. But yeah, I do think there's a good chance we get there. But yeah, 5-minute chart is basically consolidation, really. So not the best conditions. But in terms of longs, it is a smart place for a buy. So I don't mind that. GJ breaks H450. I'm taking a massive swing down. Okay, let's have a look at that. So you're looking at a swing lower if we break through the 50 there, which we're kind of hugging very closely right now. So yeah, I'm looking at a swing to the downside as well. For pound yen, I'm pretty bearish on this one. And there's two areas I'm looking at: the short here for the retest of that high, or the short back over. Oh no, over here on the retest of that high for a sell as well. Those are the two areas where I'm looking to short pound yen. This one I have to be a bit careful because we are forming these higher lows. So 1, 2, 3. You see that? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. We could form at number 5, somewhere in this region here as well. So if I do catch a short there, there's a chance that a higher low does form and, of course, goes against me there, which is why I kind of like the entries up here because I'll be well away from the noise, entry right at the high, stop loss in a pretty safe area as well. And if it does play out, risk reward is looking exponential there. So could be a really nice trade there. But yeah, pound yen, pretty bearish as well. I suppose if you do break through that that full H50 as well, we probably will see a nice drop, especially with the fact that price is hugging the moving average so well. So if it does break, you probably will see a bit of a reaction and probably targets back at that low for you. But yeah, I do like pound yen to the downside as well. UJ short and my stop loss is around 100 pips, though I'm in profit already. Yeah, I mean, stop loss around 60 to 100. Yeah, 60 is not bad. I mean, Fed interest rate could give a 100 pip move pretty easily, to be honest. It could also give like a 30 pip move if we were seeing kind of a very tainted one, because the interest rates, they kind of go in and out of fashion. So like we have a period where the Fed interest rates are just heavy hitters and you're seeing 100 plus moves every single interest rate, and you're seeing a lot of moves as well, and you're seeing big trends after as well, because you of course you have the initial reaction from the news, and then potentially the trend after that initial reaction could last another 2-3 weeks, or potentially up to the next interest rate decision as well. And of course you sometimes can get very dry ones where market doesn't really move much, and you got the press conference half an hour later, maybe you see a bit more movement there, but again, doesn't really cause much of a trend. So in terms of, are you going to get a big hitter today? I'm not too sure. I think maybe because Trump just come into power, maybe there's a bit more to it today. So we might see a bit more movement than usual. But really, I mean, I don't have a trade open right now, so I'm very much on the sidelines going to see what happens. But yeah, 60 pip stop loss and you're in a bit of profit as well should be okay. But like I always say, if you're going to trade through news, you want to plan this beforehand. I know for myself, if I do get into a trade, I'm going to hold through pretty much any news event. But if there is a Fed interest rate coming out and there's an entry signal like 2-3 hours before, then I would not take the trade because I know my stop loss is very much at risk. But if I'm in a trade like a few hours before, like for example, if I can get into a trade now, that's like 10 hours away between now and the interest rate. Or if I can get into a trade the day before, that's great as well. Then I'll look to hold through the news. That's kind of my rules for it. Rex, Aussie CAD up, similar to New Zealand CAD when it comes down a bit. I'm not too sure what you're saying there. You're saying Aussie CAD goes up when New Zealand CAD goes down? Not too sure. I mean, Aussie CAD and New Zealand CAD are very correlated pairs. Of course, maybe not to the actual tick, but in general, 90% of the time they move in the same direction. So, if you're looking to short Aussie CAD, 9 times out of 10, you should be looking to short New Zealand CAD as well. Doesn't mean you have to, of course, but I'm just saying in general. Anyway, so let me go through some of the crosses before I forget. Pound NZD and Pound Aussie, I've been looking to buy these guys, but I think they've left me in the dust right now. They've been very, very bullish. They've just missed, both of them just missed my level. Pound Aussie just missed it. Pound NZD, there's a bit more of a distance between between price forming that low and that support level. But yeah, I've been looking to try and catch that next buy for pound NZD, looking to see if we can continue these high lows, one over there, second, third, kind of fourth with that double bottom, fifth. I was looking for number 6 on the retest of that level. Unfortunately for me, price has kind of reacted slightly above where I expected price to bounce from, and now looking pretty bullish again. Maybe we still do drop to the downside, but yeah, we've definitely pulled away. That initial reaction is gone. So kind of looking for the next opportunity now because that one has definitely left me behind. And pound Aussie looks like it's done the exact same thing as well. Really nice reaction to the upside. I was looking for the retest of this level here. You can see we just missed that. Again, same situation as pound NZD in terms of the high lows. We had one over there, second with that double bottom, third, fourth. Again, was looking for number 5 at that level, but yeah, we're looking very bullish now. So probably not going to see that. I mean, again, we could still come back down and retest it. So I'm not saying the trade is not valid anymore. It's just that initial kind of push is definitely left the station without me there. But I am still bullish. Market structure still pointing up. So that is where I'm expecting price to get into. Maybe there might be some kind of continuation setups that could form, for some longs there if we don't have the bigger pullback. Same thing for pound NZD as well. Might be something like this that does kind of set up, but it needs to be clean if I want to get into the trade. If you plot fib on Aussie CAD, waiting for 0.618 to tap, and then we'll look to buy it similar to New Zealand CAD. Which time frame are you talking about, Rex? See, it's always difficult because sometimes when people drop comments about certain fibs or certain levels, it's kind of difficult. It's gonna have to try and imagine which fib or which level you're talking about. It would be nice if they could like share charts and on the screen. I mean, you can do that in the Discord, but of course on the YouTube stream it's a bit more difficult. So yeah, I don't know which fib you're talking about. Okay, daily. Okay. I think I know what you mean. Actually, no, I don't. Are you talking about a bullish fib? I suppose this one here, even though we kind of smacked the low, 0.88. Oh, okay. I see. You're talking about this fib here. I see. So you're talking about this fib here. So you're looking for the 0.618, which is around there, or maybe not. 0.88. Okay, I assume you're talking about this area here, around 0.9293 for a buy. And then you're looking for New Zealand CAD to do the same thing. Okay, break of structure. Okay, so you're talking about the break of this high. Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you. I get you now. I get you. It took a minute, but I get you. And you're looking for New Zealand CAD to do the same thing as well. So buys around there. Yeah, that could be the case. That could be the case. I mean, I'm pretty bearish. I'm expecting more downside because, again, in terms of a break of structure for an Aussie CAD, you're technically right. Price has broken structure. Being this high here, so that is very true. In my case, the high I'm looking to for price to respect is the high over there. So technically it is a break of structure, but I'm not necessarily sold that price is going to continue higher. Same with New Zealand CAD as well, which is still kind of within structure as well. I know it's broken through some of these highs here as well, which again technically is a break of structure, but I'm more kind of focused on this high here, which gave us that move to the downside. So as long as price is still respecting that, I'm still expecting another move back down. But of course, we could respect areas and continue higher. Nothing's guaranteed. And that's kind of the way I'm looking at the chart, and high time frames still look pretty bearish to me as well. So as long as we can keep that up, I do still see more downside. But I think Aussie CAD looks a little bit cleaner in terms of the buys. If you are looking to take that, I think that's a slightly cleaner break of structure there. So buys around that 0.618 make a little bit more sense. But yeah, we got there in the end. I see what you're talking about. Holly one, I've been in the trade since yesterday. Okay, so yeah, if you're gonna look to hold through the news, that's completely fine as well. I've held through many interest rates, many NFPs, and I'm still alive, still kicking. Of course, sometimes it will bite you, but because on the 4 hour chart, I will have bigger stop losses. So if I do get stopped out, I don't really get slipped much, and if I do get slipped, it's still pretty minor. And of course, it goes, and you will get times where the big news events go in your favor, and it's a happy days as well. So it gives with one hand, takes with the other. But because if I try to close my trade for every single major news event, it's gonna be very difficult to swing trades. So I kind of have to hold through news. But if you're intraday and you have tight stop losses, big lot sizes, I would advise not to. Holy one, just wait for your CHF to go up. 2 positions sitting at support, waiting for a big buy. Okay, I'll go through some CHF pairs. Haven't looked at any of them yet. Pansy on my radar, massive, but needs to pull back. Okay, so you're looking for buys as well for pound NZD. Actually, AU is weaker than NU, so I'll take New Zealand CAD. Okay. I mean, that makes sense as well because Aussie New Zealand is weaker. Yeah, true. That is true. Aussie New Zealand dollar has made a bit move to the downside, hasn't it? That is true. Yeah, I mean, again, not everyone's gonna have so many different styles and so many different reasons for getting to a trade. As long as you consistent with your approach and you tested your approach, so your approach actually does work, then you take the trades as they come. At the moment, I'm still pretty bearish on New Zealand CAD, so I'll be expecting more downside. But of course, if price does start taking out the highs for Aussie CAD and New Zealand CAD, then of course I'll look to change my outlook. But looks like you've got a decent setup there, Rex. Holy one is buying pound NZD soon. Okay, same situation as me then. If we get a decent correction, then hopefully can get some buys. Anyway, let's start to go through some of the CHF pairs. So, Holy one, you said you're looking for more upside with this one. Haven't really gone anywhere since we last spoke. I think we were trading around here somewhere. It looks like it's still kind of resting on that resistance now turn support, which is probably the support level you're referring to. And I remember you said you're looking to trade it towards the gap, which is this gap here. So, yeah, I mean, for Euro CHF, we've broken structure. We've taken out these highs on the left here, and then we've been pretty consistent with these high lows. One, two, three, four, five, yeah, potentially number six there is being printed in. So the market's been pretty consistent with this uptrend. We've taken out structure to the left. And as long as we can maintain these high lows, I would expect us to push back to the high. And of course, go and fill your gap there as well. So Euro CHF, I actually do expect to see a pretty big pullback at some stage. I pointed this out yesterday, but again, we kind of got this bearish channel here. Ooh, we've got this bearish channel here, which I do expect to see a bigger pullback for pretty soon. And if that pullback does come into play, we could see a push all the way up, to this kind of area here, where we've got those lower highs. So there's a lot of upside on the table for Euro CHF. We are a little bit corrective still. It would be nice if momentum was still pretty bullish, but yeah, if we could hold this level, I'd say you're still in business. If we do break through, could still, of course, see a move to the upside, but you'll probably be looking for a re-entry at that point. Maybe might be coming to this area here. But yeah, still a very strong level of support. So, okay, first take profit at least. Okay, makes sense, because I remember you said looking to hold your trades a little bit longer. But that's still a decent move anyway. Probably looking at least 50, 60 pips from there. Yeah, 60 pips into that high, which is a decent amount for Euro CHF. Euro CHF doesn't have a lot of pips, so 60 pip move is not a small one. In terms of some of the other CHF pairs, so pound CHF is still consolidating for dear life. Right now, it's just really choppy. I mean, in terms of what I'm looking to do with pound CHF, the setup is very, very clear. A swing back to the low. So I know exactly what I'm looking to do, but in terms of actually doing that, I need to stay patient. Like I said yesterday, I may look for more entries at the high again, depending how we react. Maybe if you can get a nice fake out, maybe a nice exaggerated wick, I will consider some entries at the high. If it's kind of like, well, if it's not that, then I won't. But really, the trade I'm the most interested in is the break of the low and then corrections afterwards and some shorts back into this area. Because again, the plan is still looking for the next lower high and a move back down. But we're just been consolidating for seems like forever. So I've got to stay very, very patient, but very, very bearish there. In terms of New Zealand CHF, we were looking pretty bearish yesterday. I remember CHF pairs were falling a little bit. Was that yesterday or was that Monday? That was Monday. Yeah, things were looking pretty bearish on Monday there. CHF was pretty strong. CHF pairs were having a pretty strong move down. And New Zealand CHF, I'm still pretty bearish with this one, but it's been difficult to find some clear-cut entries. I'm still looking for price to come back into the low here, which is pretty much the old-time low. We do have some pretty strong support, which of course will be flipped resistance, which is just above us. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Which is just above us right now. So I'm kind of looking to see if maybe we can have one more push into that area and then maybe catch the shorts from that same level. But I have to say it is becoming a little bit choppy now and it's put me off the trade. Aussie CHF, same situation as well, except this one I'm kind of waiting for support to break before I do step in. I'm looking to see if we can push back to the lows down here. And as you can see, we've got a very powerful level of support just underneath us here at 0.56. So I'm looking to see if we can go and break through that, then find some corrections and opportunities to continue that trend to the lows. So very, very bearish on Aussie CHF and New Zealand CHF. But then I'm quite bullish on Euro CHF, which is quite funny. But then Aussie and New Zealand are very, very weak in general. They have been very weak for a while. So kind of makes sense to be bearish on those currency pairs. Yeah, with this one, I need us to break through that support level. And when we do, that'll be the time I start looking to short. We did have kind of a semi break here, but it turned out to be a bit of a fake out. We lacked momentum, so I held back into getting into positions. But if you can see price really make a statement, break through that, maybe 2, 3 consecutive bearish candles, big candles as well, then that's going to excite me to get into some shorts. And then you got the swing low down there to target, and that becomes a really nice opportunity. So yeah, waiting for that for Aussie Chef. CAD Chef, I'm not really interested in, to be honest. Very choppy pair. Just back and forth, back and forth. Again, same as Pound Seed Chef as well, but at least Pound Seed Chef, we've got some nice room to work with to the downside. With CAD Seed Chef, we've got support right below us as well. So even if we do get a nice break of support, we're just back into support again. So yeah, I'm not really too interested with this one. Maybe if we do break to the upside, something could interest me there, because similar to Euro CHF, I do think CAD CHF could go through a similar pullback. If I zoom out, look at the bigger picture here, you got the equal highs roughly around there. Of course, you got your equal lows there. So if we do break to the upside of the consolidation, there is a good chance we do push kind of back into this area, similar to Euro CHF. So there might be some nice buys in the break and retest. Why is it not drawing? What happened there? I have no idea. So it lagged. But yeah, that's kind of what I'll be looking at for CAD CHF. Otherwise, not really interested whilst we're inside the consolidation. And yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with the CHF pairs. It's very choppy, as they are most of the time. Ready in CHF JPY, it's from your Discord. Okay, shorting CHF JPY. Yes, you are. Busy bee, Holy One, busy bee. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of CHF JPY. I mean, I am bearish on this one because we are still seeing lower lows and lower highs. As you can see, I've mapped out the structure there. So as long as we maintain that bearish structure, I do expect price to continue lower, but it's just been very choppy. So I'd watch out as soon as we come into that low. We might struggle to break through, and that could turn us around. But yeah, the bearish structure is not bad. We have seen, lower lows and lower highs. We've seen some decent momentum in those bearish legs as well. So as long as that can maintain, we probably will see another drop. But because we've taken our sweet time trying to break support there, that's definitely put me off the trade a little bit. And we did have this trend line here as well, which price is long gone broken through as well, which again, a trend line break doesn't necessarily mean price is going to kind of change direction. The key thing to look out for is market structure. So yeah, that's the key thing in terms of direction. But because we did break through the trend line, my confluences diminish, which is another reason why I didn't jump into the trade. But yeah, I'm still pretty bearish here for Swiss yen, as I am with most yen pairs, but just not looking to take any positions, maybe apart from pound yen. I do like the shorts with this one. If we do get back to the high, or if we get back to the high there, I would like to get into some shorts. Okay, moving to break even because it seems to be messing about. Yeah, I would agree. It does look to be messing about as well. It doesn't even look to be moving pretty well. But yeah, I mean, looking at the JPY basket though, it does look like this is likely to have another move to the upside. And if it does push the upside, that should help out your Swiss yen position. Nice strong candle close a couple candles ago on the 4-hour chart. So if we can see a push back to the high here, then of course you will see weakness for the yen pairs. But then again, as we do approach the high, yeah, I do think there's a good chance we could turn around and sell off again. So with CGF JPY, we might see a nice push back into the low, but then as soon as we get there, things might become a little bit awkward again and we could turn around. Of course, we could smash straight through and come to these lows and go a lot further. I think in the long run, that's the big move for Swiss yen I'm looking for, but I have to stay patient because I don't think it's quite ready yet. So sitting on the sidelines. But in terms of some of the yen pairs, dollar yen's actually my favorite, and I'm actually looking to see if I can get into some longs for this one. really healthy market structure. You can see the higher highs and the higher lows prices formed. This is the last higher low, and of course, you create the higher high there. So I'm looking to see if price can come back, retest that low, find some entries, and see if we can ride it back into the high. Then, if everything goes well, possibly back to that high there at 161.693. So overall, very, very bullish for dollar yen. And if we can come down a little bit further, maybe from a nice equal low there, that's kind of what I'm looking for as a trade. Oh, not that. There we go. As a trade, and then I'll probably leave some positions to run to see if we can get it to the next target. But dollar yen looks really good to me. This is definitely a pair I'm going to be looking at closely. Pound USD looks very good as well. So I'm going to be keeping a close eye on this one too. Very short buys, but again, I'm probably not going to find an entry between now and the news. So I'm just going to wait for the news to do its job, really see what we do in regards to that, whether we sell off a little bit or we push back up again. Same thing for euro. If we do have a bit of move to the upside, maybe that could help in terms of finding me some entries. So if dollar does become weak, that actually helped me out a lot because that will retrace dollar yen for me, retrace euro USD, retrace pound, which is kind of what I want to see happen. Okay, greasing it far, but we'll see. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in terms of looking to swing trades far, yeah, and that's kind of how you're looking to maximize your profits. Yeah, letting your winners run, cutting your losers short. But it's always a lot easier said than done. And some trades are going to, of course, be your big winners, and some trades are going to fly, and other trades are going to be they're going to go in your favor a little bit, then back against you. And it really just comes down to your management. How you're going to manage them. Your trades, you can go to break even after a certain point. You can lock in partials, trail stops. There's so many different ways to manage your trade. But at the end of the day, it's all about just maximizing your winners and minimizing your losers. However you do that, however you balance that out. CHF in my book has the potential to really drop, as with a lot of the yen pairs. But the thing is that we might mess around a bit first before we do see that drop. So, yeah, got to stay, well positioned for that, because potentially could get taken out break even, but then you might find another better entry next week and then you catch the move. Okay, gold halfway take profit, so holding. Okay, are you looking to hold gold through the interest rate, holy one? I mean, I would imagine maybe you'll probably break even now as well, so you're probably taking risk off the table. But of course, gold is just one of the more volatile markets, especially when it comes to the Fed interest rate. Um, so it can be a bit dodgy. But again, I'm pretty bullish on gold. I do expect new highs. It's just whether we might come down first to push up, or do we just fly? Or of course, we could melt the sky as well. That's still a possibility. But yeah, I mean, if it does come back down, I'll see if I can join you in a trade, because I do really like gold to the upside. I do think we're going to create some new all-time highs. This is still the level I want to buy from. We just missed it yesterday, or was that Monday? Yeah, just missed it on Monday. So if we do come back down, I'll be looking to see if I can find some entries. If not, then it's probably on its way up. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, as long as the risk is managed, that's the only thing you need to watch out for. But yeah, I'm very, very bullish with you on gold. So if it does come back down there, I'll be looking to see if I can join you, and hopefully take it back to 2800 at some new all-time highs. And silver, I don't like silver at all, really. At least in terms of the current price action, it looks very, very rough. I need it to fix itself up. I mean, I am still looking for a push back to the high here, but no real clarity in terms of entries and stuff. So I'm staying patient. But gold, dollar yen longs, gold longs, pound USD shorts, euro USD shorts look good. New Zealand CAD shorts look good as well. And yeah, that's really where my main focus lies. A few other pairs, pound NZD could look good for longs, pound Aussie as well, but they need some time to develop. Okay, if Charlie just closed half. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Again, you're protecting your downside there, especially on a funding account as well, because there's no point of risking it really. Maybe it's a personal if you want to give yourself a bit more room. Of course, you're the boss of that, but for a funded account, yeah, don't want to do anything you'll regret later. But anyway, guys, we have come up to the end of the stream. If you have found it useful, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. And of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss on any streams or uploads in the future. Check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. Link to that in the description below. Chat with other traders, including myself. I share updates there as well. So if you're interested, check it out. Of course, you can find out a bit more about Elevating Traders if you are interested in that as well. So go check it out. Links in the description and at the top of the chat. But guys, really do appreciate you tuning in for another stream. As always, I will be live again tomorrow and Friday every weekday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So if you're free, make sure you pop in, say hi. We do have the interest rates later today, so be aware, be careful. CAD interest rate, don't overlook that one, especially if you are trading a CAD pair. I think that's at 2:45 UK time. Then, of course, you got 7 p.m. You got the Fed interest rate, but of course, keep a close eye on the press conference shortly afterwards. That could send the market completely in the other direction. So definitely keep an eye on that. But yeah, I think we do have euro interest rate tomorrow as well, don't we? Uh, yeah. Wait, no, no. Yeah, we do. 115 euro interest rate as well. So three interest rates back to back. So yeah, keep an eye on that. But guys, appreciate you coming on. Have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.